Food is medicine. Food is love. Which one of those do you believe in? I'm curious. I'm Leo Babauta from Zen Habits. My relationship to food is something I've been working with for 20 plus years now, and I've been helping others with it as well. And I saw this was in an article in the New York Times, I believe, so I don't want to take all the credit for that. But there was a headline or a subheadline and a quote from someone else, I can't remember who, was food is medicine, comma, food is love. And the truth is, it's both. Food in our culture, in the lives we live, in our society, food is medicine. It is seen that way, although we don't usually use it that way. But we also see food as love. And that's a very deep cultural thing that goes into a lot of cultures, not just one. Um, and so it's really hard to see when we are treating food as love. And so I'm going to posit here in this video that it is actually both, and it is important for us to understand which one of those we are using food as. So let's talk about that. I'm going to go into details into food as medicine and food as love, and then how to work with the dichotomy there. So food as medicine is something that I deeply believe in. Of course, that is something I invented. It goes back a couple of thousand years at least. But food as medicine, the idea here is that we can heal a lot of ourselves through just eating healthy food. And by changing our diets from the kind of unhealthy food that we might be eating by default to whole foods that are actually good for us, full of nutrients, full of fiber, full of all the good stuff that will change us. And one thing that we are learning more and more is that that also changes our gut biome. The, so many billion, I think billions of organisms that are living in our guts, our stomach and our guts and our throat and all of the systems that we have here. So we have this gut biome, and if we are feeding it processed foods, then certain things will thrive and others will die, right? And those tend to, the ones from our ultra processed foods, junk foods, right? All the things we think of, fast food, potato chips and Doritos and, sweet drinks, sugar drinks, fried foods, all of these things that we eat, all kinds of sweets. We prepared foods. We are feeding our bodies this, but we're feeding our gut biome, and that changes the gut biome, the composition of that. And then that will change how we think, how we feel, the diseases that we get. I think a lot of autoimmune diseases are coming from our gut biome. Now, we're still learning about that, so I can't really claim that to be true. But that is, I think, what a lot of evidence is pointing to. So I think that's one part of food as medicine, is if we start to shift that to whole foods with lots of fiber and nutrients, it will change the composition of our gut biome to things that actually make us healthier and less disease-ridden. I found that to be true in my own life. When I'm eating more processed foods, and that's like, a lot of breads and flours and sweets, a lot of fried stuff and, prepared foods and restaurant foods, a lot of greasy things, I feel worse and my health is worse. There's a lot of, I can get my blood work done. My blood work looks way worse. And I have relatives and friends who have developed autoimmune diseases and, what do you call it? Kidney diseases, diabetes and heart diseases. So these things happen when we eat these kinds of bad foods on a regular basis as our default. I'm not saying we should never eat these and that they're bad in terms of evil, but they're definitely not helping our health, right? And so if we start to feed ourselves the good foods, and for me, that's whole plant foods. I'm a vegan. You don't have to be vegan. You can eat other things, but I'm a vegan and I eat whole plant foods for the most part, 95, 99% of the time. And that not only gives me all the nutrients I need, but I think it changes my gut biome. I am healthier because of that, to the extent that I'm doing that. I've seen it, in my own life, but I've seen it in so many other cases. People who had autoimmune diseases, they treat themselves by changing their diet. Now, is food the only medicine? No, you shouldn't, like forget about regular medicine and it's not a substitute for seeing a doctor and getting checked out. Do those things too. But a part of the treatment plan, I believe, for most people is going to be whole plant foods. So food is medicine. I believe it, and I've seen it in my own life. And it's been proven through study after study. At the same time, food is love. It is what our mothers or grandmothers give us when we are feeling down, when we're sick. There's a certain kind of food that they'll give us. When they want to show us they love us, they might bake us cookies or a pie. It's a cultural thing that when we want to express love, we give food. When we have Thanksgiving, we come together and we have huge meals. When we want to give gifts, we might give some wine or some cookies or some muffins. When someone is in the hospital, we might bring some food to them. When someone is going through a loss, like a death, we might help them with their grieving by giving them food. When someone is down, or when we're feeling down, we might give ourselves food. When we're feeling like put upon by the world, we might comfort ourselves with food. Any ways that we're comforting ourselves or others with food, showing that we love people, food is love. And I believe that that's actually a beautiful thing. However, because we are human beings who need love on a daily basis, love is a required thing. We might start meeting that need for love and comfort by giving ourselves food all the time. And that's where we get caught up in eating the junk food. Because we need love, because life is stressful and hard, because we're feeling down, because someone said something mean to us, we need to comfort ourselves through food. That is something we learn through that. And so that is where that becomes a problem. I actually think it's a beautiful thing to express ourselves, to enjoy beautiful, delicious food with our family, to go on a food trip and enjoy that. I do that all the time, not every day, not every week, but I do that. And just relax and enjoy it. It doesn't have to be this perfect, like eating the whole foods all the time. So finding the balance of that is where I think it's really important. We shouldn't beat ourselves up when we eat the pie or the cookies. Enjoy it, but also let the default be the medicine, this beautiful, delicious, nurturing, nourishing, healing food that you could be eating. Let that be 90% of what you eat. And then when you need a cookie, eat a cookie and enjoy it. So if you can find the balance of that, if you want to get together with friends, you don't have to eat perfectly with them. Enjoy some food with them. And at the same time, go back to the food as medicine afterward. And I think that's where we need to find the balance. I think the food is love part should be at the most 10% most of the time, sometimes more. If you need a weekend of debauchery or a whole week traveling through Italy and eating your heart out, great. So sometimes more, but it shouldn't be like that year round where you're eating your heart out. Food is medicine, and medicine is love as well. Taking care of yourself, giving yourself good health and energy is also love. So I really want to encourage that approach. Is like 90 to 95% of the time I'm giving myself the medicine of food that is going to be amazing. And then other times, just freaking enjoy it. Savor that delicious food when it's time. Okay, my friends, I am Leo Babauta of Zen Habits signing out. Please give this a thumbs up if you found use in it. Share it with others if they could use this love in their lives. Subscribe for more of this content on a weekly basis. Put a comment. Let me know if you had any thoughts on this. I'm open to other perspectives or questions or just what was helpful to you. Thanks, my friends. I'll talk to you later.